Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. And whenever there is a crisis in our community, in the Black American community, it never fails that some Black person is going to bring some negative energy to the situation and try to throw water on whatever Black people are talking about. Now, everybody is talking about Nolan Wells from Mississippi, who went on a boating outing or something like that with his white friends on the 4th of July and was found days later unalived. So that is what everybody is talking about right now. At least that's what's trending on these social media platforms. But it never fails. Listen to this.
If you look at the statistics, it's obvious you should be a lot more fearful of your Black children hanging out with other Black kids. I mean, the Black teens between the ages of 15 and 24 are the only group in America, in the U.S., that has homicide listed as their #1 cause of death. And those homicides are not at the hands of white people. So when you're Black and you're allowing your children to go off with white people, they're much safer than they are with their Black friends by the statistics and by a very wide margin.
The reason I'm using this Mexican guy's video is because when this Black guy came on my For You page on TikTok, I blocked him. But then I realized there needs to be something said about this. This Mexican guy, by the way, is just always meddling into Black people's business. And that's to build a platform. We understand that, but these people ought to talk about their own people sometime. But this Black guy came across my For You page and I blocked him. But this needs to be addressed by our community because he's taking an opportunity, because he's just like everybody else. He's trying to get views, but he's trying to take the obtuse version of what Black people are doing right now. We're talking about Nolan Wells. We're not talking about Black on Black crime. And it's not that he's not telling the truth. He's telling the truth. He's not lying. But he's talking about a pattern that has nothing to do with this case. Nolan wasn't killed in a neighborhood conflict. He was killed in a proximity situation. He wasn't killed by another Black teen. He died under the supervision of adults outside his community. And that's why Black people are demanding answers. You don't get to hide behind statistics when a child died in someone's care. This child's life is important too, and this case needs to be talked about too. When a Black teen or a Black person is harmed by another Black person, the system responds fast because it's a familiar pattern. There's a clear suspect, there's a clear motive, there's clear proximity, there's a quick arrest, and there are quick charges. This has nothing to do with a case where a Black child dies under the supervision of non-Black adults. So when a Black person commits a crime, there's immediate closure because the system jumps into action. So bringing up Black on Black crime is a deflection tactic. It's the same move people use every time Black folks demand accountability from institutions or individuals outside of our community. It shifts the conversation away from who was responsible for his safety, who failed to protect him, because it's the rule of thumb in all communities. If 5 people go, 5 people come back. That's everybody's rule. And why can't his parents get answers? So this creator is mixing 2 completely different conversations. If he wants to talk about intraracial violence within the Black community, he can do that. If he wants to talk about gun homicide statistics, he can do that. If he wants to talk about systemic conditions in Black neighborhoods, he can do that because there is a reason why these Black kids are killing each other at a higher rate than other communities are. But none of that belongs inside the Nolan Wells conversation. because the Nolan Wells case is not about proximity violence, neighborhood conflict, teen on teen homicide, gun violence, or community patterns. It's about custody, responsibility, and accountability. And the fact that a Black child died under the supervision of non Black adults whose story keeps shifting needs to be talked about. And also, I think it would be good for him to talk about proximity violence. Why are these Black kids killing each other at a higher rate than other kids? That's something that he could talk about, and he could probably bring some real clarity to the situation. And it would be a good topic for him to talk about. But that's not what this case is about. All of these children's lives are important. One crime is not more important than another, but at least when it happens within our community, we know what happened, we get answers, and the parents have an opportunity for closure. But in a death like this one, we are concerned about the way the system behaves because of who is involved. Because when the suspect is Black, we get names, we get charges, we get arrests, we get a timeline, we get a story that actually makes sense, and we know for certain that somebody's going to jail. But when the harm comes from outside our community, when it crosses racial lines, then all of a sudden we get nothing. And when we do get an answer after a long period of time, it's something like it's under investigation, or it was an accidental drowning. It was a tragic accidental drowning, or he hanged himself, or he shot himself in the head twice. Let that sink in. They withhold the information, they start shifting the story, and families are left begging for transparency. So, no, Black kids are not safer with anybody because of their race. What is true is that the system responds differently depending on who the suspect is. And that difference is exactly why our community is outraged right now. So while folks are online trying to be funny and cute and trying to be edgy, trying to get views off a tragedy, Black people are dealing with the reality that when harm comes from outside our community, we don't get immediate answers, we don't get closure, and we don't get justice without a fight. But when it's inside our community, we know what happened, we know who did it, and we know who's going to jail. And that's not a compliment because a dead child is a tragedy, no matter how that child died and no matter who is involved. It's a pain that is never ever going to go away. And if you don't understand that, you're not ready to have any of the conversation about any of it. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about the video and have a good day.